This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with a daily wrestling news update for you. Ricochet, who I wouldn't say is over mainstream, but he's been a solid worker, mechanic for WWE. Wrestled Logan Paul, didn't really make him more popular, but I'm sure he got a good payday over it. Apparently, his contract is up soon, and he is given his notice to WWE that he will not be returning when his contract is done at some point this summer. Will Ospreay was an opponent for him. In the past, they were opponents. And Will Ospreay has not exactly been a ratings winner in WWE. They are friends. He's publicly said he was wanted to bring Ricochet to AEW. My only thing is, and I like Ricochet, I've interviewed him. Here's a picture from just before I started the interview with Ricochet, his ex-girlfriend at the time, Tessa Blanchard, and the kid. Back when Tessa Blanchard was nice. Remember, she was nice when I met her then, and in later years, she wasn't nice. She later got an attitude, but whatever. That's the way it goes sometimes. Anyways, the only thing I would say is Ricochet going to make any difference in AEW? I'm sure Tony Khan will pay him. He likes smaller guys that slap their legs a lot and do flips a lot. Ricochet's way better than a lot of the guys they have. But just to get an idea of how tall he is, like, look how short he is. By the way, that interview's in the description of this video if you want to see it. And I like him. He's a great guy. I would hire him and get rid of a bunch of your other guys. But is another small guy going to make any difference in the rating? Obviously, AEW will offer him more than WWE if he's going to switch there. But will he make any difference in the ratings? You fans could tell me in the comments. To me, it's just another guy. But I do agree. I would hire him and just get rid of a bunch of other guys his size that aren't as known. I'm not saying not to hire him. I'm just saying it won't be a ratings boost. Tom Lawler wrestled before, has officially challenged Bryan Danielson to an MMA fight. Danielson recently said that he would be very sad if he died without getting into another real fight. And Tom Lawler responded that he's officially challenging Bryan Danielson. Tom Lawler, former UFC fighter. Bryan Danielson, I don't know his fighting background. I've I'll give him the benefit. I've read his book, but I don't recall much about his fighting background. I have nothing against him. I like him, but I would definitely say Tom Lawler would win that. And it would be if I was like Saudi Arabia, that might be some place that would pay a lot of money to have a fight like that. I don't know if MLW would allow that fight to happen in AEW if AEW wanted to have an MMA fight on a pay-per-view. That would be interesting to watch. I would watch it. That would make me want to watch the pay-per-view, to be honest with you. Maybe not the whole 5 hours, I'd turn it off or whatever. The last one was 5 hours and 40 minutes. But I'd be interested to see Tom Lawler against Bryan Danielson. By the way, I will say, and I'll get back to the news, but I'll show you this choke that Tom Lawler did to me. Watch this right now. I'll show you this choke. This was quite something.
Setting up for a rear naked choke. Can't see his hands right now. Can't see his arms. We can't see how tight it's in. Looks like he's got it though. Hannibal using his superior strength. Right in the
He
corner.
had this choke in really tight. And every time I would let go of his legs, the choke was like driving my Adam's apple right into the back of my throat. I did end up beating him, by the way, there. He couldn't quite finish me off, but the choke, I mean, let's just skim back for a second. You can see me grab his legs because when his legs are hanging and he has that choke in, like when I first stand up, this choke, you can see me like grabbing his legs because the choke was just driving my Adam's apple back into my throat. And here's a piece of trivia: the famous interview I did with Paul Hellyer, which has been featured in many documentaries. Gaia bought it, and some of the clips on it have millions and millions of hits. After that match with Tom Lawler in Montreal, I drove straight to Toronto and did a 7 a.m. interview with Paul Hellyer. Yes, that was quite a night. It was a very fun series, a couple of days. I had a big match the day before that too. But all I'm saying is Tom Lawler knows how to apply a choke. I don't think it was his fault that he had it in so tight. I think he had it on, and this was just when he was just starting pro wrestling too. And just when I stood up, before I had a hook on his legs, all of the pressure was going in and driving my Adam's apple back, and it literally hurt for 2 or 3 days after. So he's got my respect. I like it. I actually like him. He's a really nice guy. MMA fighters in general are nicer than wrestlers, but he's a good wrestler. I would wrestle him again, and who knows, I probably will one day. And yeah, my money would be on him. Although I also like Brian Danielson. I never met him, but my money would be on Tom Lawler. He has more to gain by beating Brian Danielson. It would make him more famous in wrestling, and he has the experience factor. So there you go. AEW, as far as I was listening to Wrestling Observer today, he's saying Dave Meltzer was saying because AEW has not been doing great ratings lately, it actually matters a lot more than ratings would matter if they didn't have a new TV deal. Right now, they don't have a new TV deal in place, and they're getting not so great ratings. MJF got them up a little bit this week with his return. Will that be sustained? I mean, one thing they could do to get the ratings higher, at least temporarily, is bringing Becky Lynch. A lot of people are saying they should do that, including me. And I don't like a lot of the stuff that AEW has done, but I want them to do better because it's good for me and it's good for the wrestling business. And I don't like WWE just to be totally dominating and crushing them. I actually want them to do better. That's why I would suggest that they hire Becky Lynch. And I would suggest to Becky Lynch to go to AEW. She's done it all in WWE. Go back to WWE after, you'll be a bigger star. The one thing I'll say about Ricochet, maybe he'll be pushed more in AEW. Maybe. I guess he's done all he's going to do in WWE too. He has a good position, but he probably won't go above that position. Facing Logan Paul is a pretty good accomplishment. Maybe it is time for him to move on. I'm not saying it's a bad decision. I'm just saying they have so many guys like that. If you bring in Ricochet, let's not have so many of them because I don't particularly like. I don't think Ricochet is as bad as Will Ospreay with the leg slaps and stuff. But like, if you have it in one match, fine. But it was like somebody said there was like 27 AEW matches between the three shows last week, when so many of those matches are the leg slapping, fake looking matches. It's just like it makes me not want to watch. Like I don't want to watch now. I don't find it interesting. I'd rather watch old Ric Flair promos because I'd rather watch Ric Flair promos. Funny enough, AEW has Ric Flair under contract and they don't even use him to do promos, and he can still do promos. Proof of that is that incident he had in the pizzeria the other week. They could make their show better with better promos, and I'm not talking about these 20-minute boring promos that happen way too often these days, but like just short promos just to help get people over quickly. They could put Ric Flair with someone who's not over as a manager, for instance. Have him do like a 1 minute promo backstage before he comes out, have him come out and wrestle, have him come back. Why they don't do that, I don't know. Why they don't use Jake the Snake on TV, I don't know. But I'm not going to let it bother me. Dave Meltzer also said on the Wrestling Observer Radio, New Japan has no marquee stars right now, and is not hot at all. Everyone who has not re-signed in both AEW and WWE, all the people that are free agents or about to be, like Ricochet, Natalia, Becky Lynch, and others, are testing the waters, talking to both sides before they decide where to sign. Anyways, there was one other thing I was going to read, but I don't know what it was. Anyways, guys, I wish you all a great evening, great Saturday night. And I'll remind you fans, in about 3-ish weeks, I think 3 weeks from tonight, I'm stepping back in the ring, June the 29th, in Napanee, Ontario, Canada, halfway between Toronto and Ottawa.